Let's move on now to the scene in Chicago last week that I know we talked about a lot here on 12 News. Is being talked about all across the country. This is D-back star Ketel Marte, and you can see he's getting support from his manager and his teammates after a fan made a comment about his mother who died in a car crash back in 2017, and he was visibly upset. Fans of Major League Baseball rallied around him, showing their support. But Marte's show of emotion is bringing back an important subject into the spotlight, and that's stigma sometimes surrounding vulnerability, especially amongst men. And joining us now to talk about this is Julie Miller, who's a licensed counselor with Quail Behavioral and Valley Hospital. Julie, thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Did you expect to see something like this? Were you surprised when you saw this?
A little bit surprised with men, especially athletes, being open to having all those emotions in a public forum like that. But it doesn't surprise me that it might have, the comments might have shocked him in the moment, right? Not expecting to hear something like that. It's like if you or I were sitting at our desk and someone started heckling us at work. It's not something you expect just because you're an athlete.
Yeah. I'm a certain age. I've been around for a while, and I was kind of brought up that, yeah, men shouldn't be seen crying out in public.
Right.
I mean, it's one thing if you lose your mother, like right then, or if you're at a funeral, but to have something like this and crying in front of a bunch of people, have things changed?
I think so.
Okay, why?
I think generationally we're seeing kids grow up being, coached by their parents and taught by their parents that it's okay to have these emotions, that it's healthier to have these emotions, right? Because in the past it was the appropriate emotion for a man would be anger. Right, and that's not a healthy way to function. So we would be okay if he got mad in the middle of the baseball game, and nobody would blink an eye at that. But crying, some people are genuinely surprised. So I think kids nowadays are learning to have those emotions and to balance that piece of it, whether it's anger or sadness in a public forum.
But if you've got a 25-year-old guy who's working in a workplace and a boss corrects him on something and he starts crying, what do you think is going to happen then?
I think that would be a difficult situation for a 25-year-old man. I think that there has to be balance there, right? So we have to know when to check our emotions and when to have them. So in the workplace, maybe you're controlling that a little more and you're having those conversations in private with a trusted member of your family or friends. If you are seeking therapy or using some sort of support person in your life, use that opportunity to have those emotions, but managing that appropriately in the workplace.
And what about on the opposite end? I mean, somebody like me, I can't remember the last time I cried. Is that bad?
No, it's not bad.
Okay.
You know how you cope with your emotions. So some people exercise, other people talk about it, some people write in a journal. It totally depends on you. If you're managing your emotions and you feel okay with that, then you don't need to.
Julie, how do people get a hold of you if they'd like to?
Valley Hospital at valleyhospital.com. You can look us up. Also, Quail Behavioral Health. I oversee 2 hospitals.
Oh, wow.
Right. So we have a men's unit, a women's program, inpatient, outpatient services.
You have a lot going on.
Lots going on. Yeah, 2 different locations across the valley, and anybody can call. Going through the internet, calling any of our hospitals anytime, and there's 24-hour service.
Great, Julie. Thanks so much for coming in. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Tramp.
All right, we're going to take a live